So I wanted to say a few words about fear because it's such a strong aspect of what many of us are experiencing these days. So first of all, just recognizing if there is some fear in our mind or when fear arises in our mind is extremely helpful. Giving it a name, being able to notice that, oh, I have some fear, I have some hesitation, I'm not sure how this is going to work out, what's going to happen. That allows our mind to process that fear in a different way. We can say, oh, this fear is very strong, this fear is very weak, or here's this fear again. So just getting some awareness of what's actually going on in our mind is extremely powerful. And then we can ask ourselves, why do we experience fear? What is the basis for that? So in general, fear is arising because we recognize that there is some uncertainty. Maybe that's always why fear arises, because we don't know something might happen, and we have no idea. Now, the reality is, although for many people their fears have been very strong over the last month, the reality is we've always lived with uncertainty on a personal level. Now, of course, we all collectively are experiencing some great uncertainty and great fear, but we've always individually lived with uncertainty. Our entire life, we couldn't have predicted that it would have unfolded in the way that it has. So when we have fear, what is it that we're afraid of? Fear is recognition that we might experience pain or we might experience loss. So loss is a concept, a sense that we had something and now we no longer have it. And pain is a feeling. Pain is a more immediate feeling. But of course we have pain from loss. Pain comes from loss as well. We're not a stranger to pain, and we're not a stranger to loss. We have lost things that we love, people that we loved. We have experienced pain in the past. But we know what happens as time passes. These feelings become more distant, and we can relate to them in a different way. They no longer have the power, the intensity, the immediacy that they once had for us. So we know that pain and loss, no one wants pain, no one wants any loss. We all wish we could live our entire lives without any pain, right? But that is not, it's not realistic, it's not part of our human condition. We have no idea what is going to happen, and that's always been the case. We've always lived with uncertainty, but we've told ourselves a story that we knew what was going to happen in our life, that life was predictable. But the truth is now, we're actually closer to the truth now. We're closer to the truth now by knowing that life is uncertain. So it doesn't mean we can't make plans, we can't take concrete actions, but we can have a humility, right? And we can have a recognition that we may experience difficulties, but just like we've experienced difficulties in the past, these things will pass. And when they're arising, as long as our mind can be peaceful, if we approach these difficulties with a peaceful mind, they don't have the power to disturb our mind. They don't have the power to control our mind the way we fear that they might. So there we have a belief, some sense that if there is some pain, I won't be able to deal with it. I won't be able to handle it. If there's some loss, we believe that we won't be able to handle it. But that's not true. Our ability to handle difficulties is something that we can cultivate. And it really depends on our own peace of mind. That if we're able to keep a peaceful mind, even in the face of difficulties or loss, then that peace itself is protective. That peace itself becomes protection for us. It helps to soothe our mind, helps to give us perspective, helps us to be steady and stable even in the face of disturbing situations. So we can look to our own inner peace as something that we can build, as actually a skill that we can build and cultivate. Recognizing that that inner peace is not only helpful for us, it is something that we share with others, we influence others, just like fear can spread. So peace can spread. It has an influence on the people around us. It is not perhaps quite as infectious as fear, but peace, nevertheless, if we're consistent and sustained in our peace, it's incredibly helpful for the people around us. And so we can think that this is something we can do not only for ourselves, keeping our mind peaceful, but we can do this even as a gift for the people around us, giving our own peaceful, positive mental state as an offering to our friends and our family and our society. In this way, our fears may not go away, but we begin to see them in perspective, and we can begin to recognize that they are an emotion and they don't have power over us, but they're something that we can approach with an open mind, an open heart. Thank you.